let's move to our class. This is day 10, and the date is 26. So coming to the yesterday class, okay. So first thing, just coming to the yesterday class. So we have discussed about the SQL, right? So structured query language. Okay. Whatever the rules, set of rules available in the structured query language, if someone wants to implement that database, right? So they have to follow the structured query language rules. Okay. So whether they are going to build any database, so it should be like it should follow some set of rules. And also the internal part of the database, how the data will be dealt by the database. Okay. When you are writing any query, suppose this is the query. Okay. This is query, I can say, but as part of like a language, right? So structured query language. This is a code, one type of code we are written. All right. So any code in a programming language or any languages, okay, any coding languages, okay. So first thing that has to be compiled, okay. Then after that it should execute, okay. So both the things should be done by any any programming language in our softwares, okay. So this is what in case of SQL also this is what is going to be do. Okay, so whatever the query you have written, the database engine going to be take that query and it will search for the compilation things like whatever the syntax errors or any spelling mistakes or something like that, right? So that time that compilation will be done. Once that compilation is done, right? So it is going to be execute the query. Okay, so then after that, so we will see the two types of errors. One is compile time error, okay, and next is runtime error, okay. Compile time errors are just is because of the syntax, spelling mistakes, names mismatch, something like that, okay. But names mismatch is nothing but when coming to the database, just a yes, yeah. So runtime error is nothing but what? So when everything is fine and query is compiled perfectly, then after that you are the database going to looking for this particular employee table in the database. If this employee table is not available, right, that is going to be a runtime error. Okay, suppose there is an employee table EMP and I am searching for the employee E1. So database through one error, that is what this object is not available or there is database, this table is not available or view or table is does not exist, something like that, that error will come. That is called as a runtime error. Okay, that's how we deal with the database we have seen right yesterday. Like there is an if there is a table employee ID, it has an employee ID and a name and the salary something is that columns. And whenever you declare right this employee as a unique or a primary key, so there is some cluster will be created. Okay, that is known as a cluster index. So based on the record count, the database divided the records into the load in the middle level, and then after that it's going to be a data pages. Okay, that is uh, what is that? It's a cluster. Data pages will be divided the all the data into the databases will have data stages will have the memory of 8 KB. Memory of 8 KB. Okay. For each, how many records are there? So based on that, it will be shuffle the records to the data stages. Data that will be taken care by the database. We no need to worry about that whether we have to create the cluster index or we have to align the data into the different data stages. That is not important to us. So just I want to know, like I want to let you know, guys, how the data will be deal in the cluster indexes. Okay, and also we have seen about the one thing like system global area. Okay, this is the cache memory. Okay, and this cache memory will deal with the performance of the our query execution. Okay, so just like that, Oracle will have a some cache memory. Okay, so this cache memory, what will do? So when you enter the first time the query, when you enter the query first time, so that will store that query results, and the compiled query will be stored in the cache memory. And whenever you are executing the same query in the second time, it will not going to be compiled because it is already compiled, and the result of the query will be already there in the cache. So it will improve the performance of the in not only select, it will be improve the performance of the insert, update, delete, whatever the query you are using. Okay. In case of insert, so there is a concept called as bind variable. Okay. Based on this bind variable, so inserting nothing but you are inserting some data, right? So like today we are going to see the insert syntax. That time I will let you know how the bind variables will be work. Okay, this is overall like what we discussed yesterday. Okay, coming today, so we have discussed also like about the ddl, dml, and dql, and tcl. Okay, what is ddl? Data.
Data definition language.
Yes. Data definition language. Okay. So what are the commands will be work and what are the queries can be write in the data definition language?
Create, alter.
Create, alter.
mm,
See, simple thing, like see, just
Drop.
Drop, truncate.
yes, drop or truncate. See, how can you remember these things, right? So when you are dealing with the data definition, right? So definition is nothing but we are dealing with the structure of this table. Okay, structure of the table. So this structure can be deal with these commands only. So we will see now. So how can we write the syntax of these queries, and how can we deal with the structure of the table, that we will see now. So just remember definition is nothing but you're dealing with the structure of the table. Okay. And manipulation is nothing but we are dealing with the data of the table. Okay. Data is nothing but once table is created, right? So then we are going to like insert, update, delete. Okay. These are the operations for the DM manipulation. Okay. Insert is also a manipulation, and update is also a manipulation, and deletion also it's treated as a manipulation, right? So that is how the DML, data manipulation language. Okay. So next thing is DQL. It's a querying something, right? So that is what we are going to be select. Okay, we are asking something to the database that I want to fetch this data. I want to fetch this type of data. Something like that. It is known as a query language. Okay. Coming to the TCL. TCL is nothing but it is a transaction control language. Control is nothing but whatever the transaction. That means whatever the changes, whatever the appends, whatever the deletions you do in the database, right? That should be saved in the database level. So whatever you do, this insert, update, delete, right? Or this create a drop or whatever you do, right? This is up to the session level. Okay. Once you want to save it permanently into the database, this is very important. That is what commit is the SQL command. And one more thing is rollback. Rollback is very important. That is why where if you are inserting something and you don't want to save that data into the database level, you just go with the rollback option. Clear? Now we'll see how the create table will be work. So first thing I'm going to create it. So I will take one example of employee table. Then that will go to the create query. Okay, employee table, and it has. So first thing, like when you are going to create any table, first what we have to decide? We have to decide the table name. Okay, first thing is table name, and next thing is we have to decide the columns. Okay, salary and the phone number, whatever, and create it something like that. Okay, so first we have decided employee name, that means a table name. We have to decide when you are going to create it. So you are creating a, like, just imagine you are creating a table, and while creating a table you have decided first thing is the table name, and the second thing is the column names. Once you decided the columns and tables, right? So what you have to decide next thing?
Data.
What? Sorry, data, right? That is fine. But what type of data you are going to insert, that is also an important thing, right? So we have to tell the database like what type of data you are going to insert. Suppose this employee ID, I'm assuming this is going to be only numbers. Okay. And this is employee name is going to be only characters, right? So employee name will not include this number, right? Narendra 123, not like that, right? So there is only Narendra. So I mean, I'm telling this is a characters. And salaries is nothing but like it's dealing with the amount of money, right? So sometimes like there will be like the data will be like this. Okay. Sometimes the data will be like 20,000. Not only salaries, so there will be the decimals will be there available like paisa, 20 paisa, something like that. Amount will be there. Okay, whatever the sales amount. So this will be having like this type of amounts, right? This type of things. Okay, that is called. It will have a some decimals. Okay, and coming to the phone number, so obviously it will be the combination of the special characters and the numbers. Like, see, if you are providing the your in phone number to the outside of the country, right? Some America or something like that, you will add this plus 91 something like that, and also this 9922991215 something like that. Okay, so this is what is the number you are going to tell expressed to the other thing. So there is a special character means also we can say that includes a character. So we can decide this is a character. So we remember where you are deciding the data type. Okay, data type of the column. So when you are when you are declaring that is a character, something like that, right? It's include the numbers as well. Okay, and this is date, create date. So it should be a date. What we have did, right? So first we have, when you are creating a table, first you have decided that what is the table name. Then after that, you have decided that what are the columns or attributes are available in the table. Then after that, you are deciding that what type of data is going to be stored in these columns. Okay, this is known as the type of the data you're storing in the column you're deciding, right? That is known as a data type. Data type. Okay. In generally in a databases, the types of like data types will be like int, integer. Okay. And also the characters, like combination of characters will be deal with like a varchar. Or also we have varchar or varchar 2 will be there. Okay, both are same, but there is some size difference. There is, we can ignore those sizes or all those things. Just as part of the ETL tester, we should know these data types. Okay, and coming to the salary. Okay, we have decided that this going to be some having some decimals, right? And also to denote like in a database, some databases to know this is the to explain that as a, in a decimal point. So that is called as like a decimal is the data type or float. Float can be used. Okay. And coming to the phone number, so that is fine. Like it is also coming to the varchar. Okay. And here we have a create date. That is one more thing. It is known as a date is the data type. Okay. For date, we will have a separate data type. Not only you can't write as an integer. Okay. So date will be like in a different formats, right? So date will be like today we have written this date, right? So this is this type of format. And also you can write like this 26/09/2023, or else you can write like this. So there is a different type of formats for the 20, this data. Okay, date. So that is why. So we have a data type of date while creating a table. Okay, these are very important data types. You might have seen very other data types, but as part of our query writing query writing, we are dealing with this data type. Also, one more thing, there is a one more data type that is char. So only we'll deal with the one character. Suppose if there is a gender column, okay. So in a gender column, so you instead of writing some male or female, like you just enter the one character. So that is sufficient. So you are not using the more memory of the table or the database, right? So EF or sorry, M or F can be written like this. This is the single character, right? So in this case, you unnecessarily you are going to use the varchar or varchar2. It will occupy the more size of the database, right? So instead of that, you can use the character. Okay. So these are the main database data types which we are going to use. Clear? Any doubts here? Okay. So what is integer means? It is deals with the numbers. So once you declare in a column as an integer, right? It's only you are going to enter the numbers. Okay. Once you declare as a varchar, right? So you can enter the numbers as well as the varchar. This is also known as a string. Okay, in general programming language Java or .NET, right? So
Special characters also, right?
yes, special characters also you can enter. This is just like a string we used to denote like it's a string. String is nothing but all the combination of data just like a like in array 1, 2, 3 plus minus something like this. You can enter these things in a string way. Okay, and also you can enter the numbers as I said. Okay, so string this varchar or varchar to allow this type of data. Okay, and coming to the decimals are whatever the data you enter, right? So suppose 20.20. Okay, so the decimals will be allowed as well as the this 20 rupees 20 paise. Okay, nowadays like somewhere we have seen, right? This is the like we have to enter this decimal as well. Okay, that is why when it comes to the especially the amount time, right? So amount it deals with some money matter, right? So where we are going to data type deals with the this decimal or float. Some other data types are there, but mostly we use this type. Okay, so date is the thing like where we will follow some set of formats. We will see like where we are working with the date functions, right? So that time we will see that how the formats will be there. Suppose imagine that just for now you can imagine that this format is available in the database. So we have to enter this date format. So according to that database, how it is follows now. Okay. Instead of that, if you want to change this format to other things like 26 or 209 or 2023. So if you want to print like this, right, you have to change that format. There is a various ways and we have some functions or something like, so that we will discuss later. Okay. As of now, to enter any date, you have to declare that column as a date. Okay. And the character, just I said, like if you want to enter a single character in a column, so you go with the character. Fine. So now we have decided the data type. So it is going to be integer and it is going to be character or a varchar. Varchar is the thing, right? Varchar. So that is going to be string and decimal. This is fine. And phone number, it is also a varchar, varchar or varchar2, and it's going to be date. Now fine. We have decided the table name and the column names and the data types. Next thing, in somewhere like we have to decide the size of the table. Sorry, size of the columns data. Okay. So how much size it will be increased? So suppose there is a column like address. Suppose this is not a phone number I'm entering, it is a address. Okay. So address will have a like combination of data, but it is like a huge one. Sometime like someone will have like a row number one and the flat number one, say 102, something like that, and it will be enough. And some way like they will enter the data like all the things like nearby and the name of the owner or something like that, care of something like that, right? So it will allow a lot of functions, lot of data. It should allow a lot of data. Like suppose the varchar, if you decide like 20 characters, right? Okay, that length of the data, if you decide 20 character, so whatever the complete address, it will not be stored. Okay, and even like if you are using this varchar, right? Varchar, it will allow suppose it is allowing something like 500 characters. Okay, 500 characters, not 500. So by default, it is allowing like 20,000 characters. Okay, but you are entering only 10 characters means. So unless only we are occupying the other this the other characters, other number of characters is in the database is unnecessary occupied. Like so, there is a we are using a more utilization of the memory of the database, right? So instead of that, we know like how the data will be entered by the user, how the data, whatever the data we require from the user. Okay, that only we can allow in the database. That is how, like here, the maximum characters will be like somehow in applications, right? An application while you filling in a software applications, it will allow you to enter the 500 characters, enter the 200 characters. You might have seen this statement in the while filling the while applying any application, right? That is the length of the data. Okay, so how much the length you have to enter into the database and how much the length the data should be captured from that column, that is known as a data length. Okay, so in databases integer, so nowadays like previously like when we used to start learning these things, right? We used to enter the size of the integer, but now the database is default taking it. So no need to enter the integer. So it is given the features like that. If you are entering the 100 characters any number, that is also entered. And it will sync the size of the data automatically. Okay, if you are entering 10, so the size will be synced to the 10 only. Okay, that is the feature by the database. So we can't do like we don't need to enter the integer size, but where it comes to the characters of where character, right? So you have to enter you have to mention the size of the data. So it's suppose you can mention this 100. Okay. And the decimal, no need to enter the size and the varchar. Especially we are going to deal with the size is nothing but with the varchar. Okay. Now we like see, we have decided the table name and the columns available in the table. Okay. And the data type available in the table for the each column and also the data length. Clear? So now are we able to ready to create a query for this table? Can we write? Can we write a syntax of this query? So we'll see like how can we write this query? Yeah. So is to avoid the confusion. Like I will take this table in the next page. Now see, the syntax for the create query is like create. First, the command is like create. Okay. Then after that, the what we are going to see whenever you are dealing with the data definition language, right? Data definition language. So whatever the SQL commands, whatever the SQL commands you are going to use, after this SQL command, okay, you have to mention whether you are dealing with the table or view or index. Okay, so the create can be used to deal with the create a view and create a table or create an index. As I said yesterday, like, so a cluster index will be created by the database, but you can create your external indexes. Okay, the custom indexes you can create. Okay, so that is why by using only create command only we are going to work. So you have to ensure with whatever the data definition language. Okay, you have to ensure that what is you are going to do. So I'm telling that database that create table. I'm going to create a table. Okay. Then after that, what is the table name we have to decide? So this is here. I'm going to decide the table name. Done. Then after that, we have to open bracket. And here we have to decide our what is the next thing? Column names to be identified. Right? So suppose that column one is decided, okay, and column 2 is decided, and column 3 is decided. Like this we have to decide. So we have decided the column names. Next, what we have to do, we have to identify the data types. So data types is nothing but, right, so first column should be like we have to identify which data type. Okay, and here also we have to identify data type. And this also we have to identify the data type. Right? Like this we can. Next, after that, what we have to do? Data length. And here also we have to decide data length. Clear? Getting right? How we are going to create the table is like this. So everything we can say, don't by heart the queries anyhow. Like say, anytime don't by heart the queries. Just whatever you're doing, right? Just analyze something, right? How we have to do. Okay. So this is the syntax to create a table. Okay. First we are using the create. Anyhow, that the definition we are dealing with the table, right? So we'll create and we have to tell the database, right? I'm dealing with the table. So that is by create table name. Okay, this is the table name. And entering to the data table name. So we are deciding the column names. First thing. Then after that, data types. And then after that, data length. Clear? So by using this above syntax, can I write the query for the AMP table? Right. Create table EMP. Okay. Open bracket. What I have to decide? Columns, employee ID, EMP name, salary. Okay. I'm taking only 3 columns. Okay. And then after that, columns are decided. Now I'm going to decide the data types. Data types, and this is the varchar. Okay. Varchar, and this is decimal. Clear? And this varchar should be have some size, something like 20 or something, and give. Okay. This is how we are going to create a table. This is the syntax for the creating a table. Clear? Now, so the mistakes will be happen, right? Sometimes like this requirement, like this employee ID should be like employee number. But like what you already created this one. Okay, table is already created. But I want to change this employee number, the employee ID to be employee number. Or you want to add the one more column, that is create date. There will be some mistakes will be happen while you're doing with any work, right? So you have to do the alter, right? So when you are going to do something like, so you are buying some new shades or something, like the size will be different. So you are going for the alteration, right? So that is nothing but this is alter command. You are dealing some changes in the existing table structure. Okay, so if you want to, you can do the multiple operations with the alter. But if I'm going to like, I'm forgetting the adding the date, create date column. So here I'm using the alter, right? Alter table, alter command. I'm going to add this column to the table. So alter is same thing. What I said, right? So what I said, right? Data definition language always we have to tell that what you are dealing with, right? It should be like table, alter table, table name. Okay, what you are going to do? Adding, right? Adding and create date. Okay, and you have to give the data type. That's it. Okay, column name, alter table, table name, add column name, and so you can do the add or modify something like drop, whatever the operation you are going to do, that you can enter. Clear? This is about the alter and drop. Drop is nothing but you are going to, once you create it, right? You are going to drop this table permanent. Drop table, table name. So when you are going to deal with the drop, right? So it is completely drop the table. So with the structure, the memory of the table will be deleted. Okay, you will not find this is like just like in a keyboard, right? Shift delete, just like that. Okay, so it will be not available in anywhere in your computer or any memory. Drop is the dealing. So generally, like this drop access will not given to us as a testers. We are not supposed to drop the table, right? Even developer will not have the access to the drop in the organization level. Only admin can do that. They want to drop the table or not. So once you drop that the table, right, it will nowhere available in the database. So it is a very critical thing that this drop will delete the along with the data. Okay, so you cannot recover the data, the table again. So that is why drop the access of the drop will not be given to us. Okay, so this is about the drop and truncate. Truncate is nothing but right, which is deals with the data in whatever the only command which deals with the data in the data definition language. Okay, it will drop the entire data of the table, but structure remains there. So, okay, so that is why it is in the definition language. So we are not going to deal with any structure of the table in the in that time by using the truncate, but the entire data. Okay, whatever the data is available in the table, that is going to be deleted by using the truncate. The command will be like this only: truncate table, table name. Okay, so these are the DDL commands which are like this, and the syntaxes will be the create, alter, drop, truncate will be like this. Any doubts here? Today we will see all the command, and tomorrow we will practice in the database level, and then after we will move into the next class, like this next topics in the SQL. Okay, so this is the DDL commands. Till now, no doubts, right? Clear, right? Okay, fine. So next,
In the table, the attribute and data type should be in brackets, right?
which table?
While altering the table.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Altering table.
attribute and the data type should be in brackets only, right?
Yeah, that's okay. While dealing with like see,
Okay.
tomorrow we will go into practice, right? We will see the errors, like what is the error will come with the syntax.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then we modify the query. So see, my intention is to like first I want to show you the error, then I want to modify that query so that you can understand how the errors will come.
Sure.
Okay, so we have to learn from errors or exceptions, something like that. Okay, in even in a real time also we have to learn from experience, right? That's like that. Okay, so this is what is dealing. Next thing is it is a data manipulation language. Manipulation is nothing but what we have a insert, update, and delete operations. Okay, so whenever you are going to do with like see once we created employee table and columns, data types, all is done. So now I'm going to insert a data. Okay, so the command will be like insert into. Into is nothing but in which table you are going to insert. Okay, so insert into EMP. Okay, and then we have to decide which columns you are going to, which column you are going to enter the data. So insert into EMP columns. Okay, so this columns and the value something like that, right? So it will some databases internally it will takes the columns names, or some databases internally uses this as a first whatever the you given, right? This employee ID something like it treat as a column. So somewhere like you can give these columns, or somewhere it is not mandatory to give these columns. Okay. So but the actual syntax as per the SQL is like this. Okay. This columns and the EMP name and a salary. These are the columns you are going to give. And at the same time, after these columns, you decided, right, which columns you are going to uh, apply the data. That is, after that, you have to give the values. Suppose 101 and the marine, okay, and some salary, something like that. But see, whenever you are entering the data of this varchar, right, string value, it should be always in quotes, single quotes. Like this, you have to enter. Then only the string value will consider this is the string value, and it will take the value into the column. Not only column, so while we are going to deal with the where or other classes, right? So when you are filtering some data for the string, right? So you have to use these codes. So whenever you're dealing with the string value, you have to use the quotes. At the same time, when you're dealing with the date, right? So you have to insert the quotes here like this. Okay, then only it is identify, okay, some set of data is came for the validation or something like database will trigger the data by using this code. Clear? This is the inserting the data and updating. So update will be the first command. Okay, and update table name. Okay, so manipulation you no need to require that which is we going to update. Okay, so update table name. Okay, and set is the column. Okay, set is the command. Okay, and what we are going to say in a data level, right? So employee name. Okay, suppose like set emp name equal to not Narendra. Okay, it should be like Narendra. Okay, this is the update you want to do some other or somewhere, right? So you are going to do your updation of the your name or the mobile number or address, something like that, right? Then this query will be fetched. Sorry, actually, my Wi-Fi got disconnected. I'm sharing again. Okay, so are you able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine then. So this is update. So where you are dealing with the update, right? So you have to go with the way class, otherwise the entire table is going to be updated with this name for employee name. Okay, and coming to the delete. Okay, delete will be work with like the syntax will be delete. Okay, delete from EMP. This is the command where you are going to delete the entire table's data. Okay, but if you want to delete only for particular record like this employee ID, right? So you can use this way class. Okay, like this. So when you are dealing with the delete, right? So it is the syntax will be like that delete from where you are deleting it is employee table. Okay, and from employee table you can use your way class. You can if you want to delete the entire table again, so you can delete the tables data, but if you want to delete only for single record, you can use the way class. Clear? Okay. So next is in data manipulation is done and the data query language. Okay. Generally, we deal with the query language is nothing but querying something, right? So you can write this select. The actual syntax is like that. This select star from EMP is nothing but star is nothing but you are dealing with all the column. You are selecting all the column from the table. Okay. So and from is nothing but which table you are from which table you are dealing with. Okay. Even in the select, you can use the multiple combinations like where or there is a group by or something like that we will discuss. Okay. Group by and order by is also there. So these are all the things will come into the selecting query. Okay. While you deal with the data query language, see as a ETL tester, right? We always work with the select only. So you have to more focus on the select, how to deal with the while using the select query, right? How to deal with the functions and how to deal with the these classes group by order by way class. Okay, and there is a partition by also there. So we'll discuss later. Don't bother about that thing. But this select is we are going to use multiple times because as part of the data warehouse, as I said, we have to unless something from the data. So that is the thing we are going to select the data from the table. Okay, this is about the data query language. Okay, and commit and rollback is nothing but transactional data. Okay, TCL. Transactional data is nothing but what? So commit somewhere in a database, right? If you deal with the Microsoft SQL or something like that, so in that case, the commit will be automatic. What they have to do right in SQL, if Oracle SQL developer SQL, Oracle SQL, the external commit should be performed for some queries, not all the queries, some queries. If you're dealing with the update, if you're dealing with the insert, if you're dealing with the delete, this manipulation language, right? For this, you have to enter the external commit. That means whether you want to go to save or not, that your decision. Okay. So that is just like you just have to write a commit like this. Commit and enter is the going to be saved. But somewhere in a Teradata and the Microsoft SQL way, what I observe, right? So commit will be internal. Database itself is perform the commit. You don't need to write an external commit for the, any manipulation or any uh, like data definition languages. Okay, so commit will be is nothing but we are saving data in the database. Clear? And rollback is nothing but before commit. Okay, before commit, if you are performing the any changes, right? Any changes or something like that, right? So you have to roll back it. Just like this is the command for the rollback. Okay, whatever you did till now in that session, particular session. That is going to be rollback. Session is nothing but what? Do you know what is session? See, suppose you went to the some ATM machine, okay, and you are withdrawing some data. Okay, this ATM machine will have a connection with the database. Okay, so in this connection period will be like in a programming language. Generally, this connection time will be like 5 minutes, something like that. Okay, in this 5 minutes, the connection is what is the connection which I am telling, right? This is known as a object. Okay, by using one object, this ATM machine will have a connection with the database within the 5 minutes. So this object is known as a session object. Okay, so whatever this session object will be, the time period for this session object will be 5 minutes only. That is called as a session time. Okay, that's actually if you know the Java in detail, right? So this will be you can understand. But whatever the connection, right? For the every connection, there will be some session will be created in the within the session only. We have to deal with some transactions. Okay, same thing in a database. Whenever you are going to connect with the database, right? So this is an external application. Like I said, simply this is a SQL developer. Is an external application which is used to connect with the Oracle database. Okay, so Oracle database generally it is in a command prompt. Okay, so but user friendly, right? So it is dealing with some external application. This is a SQL developer and this is Oracle. So this is going to be connected with some SQL database, right? Here we will have some sessions. So there is no time period for this connection, right? Whenever you close, that will be closed and the session will be closed. Okay, no time period here, but you can mention in the database coding level if you mention that the connection period is something like that. Okay, we can mention. Why means see why they mention this connection periods, right? Time period, right? Suppose like they have given the 1 hour of the session. Okay, and this users, a particular user is going to be this ATM machine somewhere. Suppose like this ATM machine. Imagine this ATM machine and customer is there. Okay, customer connected to this database. Okay, and he done with this work within the 5 minutes. Okay, and left the ATM machine without disconnecting the data. Okay, like this, multiple customer did a connection to the database. Okay, so these connections are not closed. Okay, so after multiple thousands of customers, one more customer is came, that is 1001 customer is trying to establish a connection with the ATM machine to the database. It will not going to be do because this database already had enough connections. So that is how he's not going to fetch his details. So if there is a concern to us, the banks or somewhere else, I'm not going to, this ATM is not working, I'm not getting the correct service, something like that, right? So whatever that is why, so they deal with some session times. Okay. So even if you are not getting works, you have to work within the 5 minutes. They will analyze that how much time, whatever the operations the ATM will give, right? Whatever the service the ATM will give, how much time it will require to complete for the customer. Suppose that is a 10 minutes, they will give the maximum time for that operations. Then after that, automatically it will going to be closed. The connection will be going to close for the database. So that the next person, the next customer, the connection will be established easily, and the connection will be available for the other person. The same thing, the SQL developer, whatever this application, right? So you are going to deal, if you are going to deal with the connection with this database, right? So in different environments, so that is fine. But in a production environment, the connection will be automatically deleted. If you once establish the connection to the database with the external application, and in a production environment, that connection will be automatically deleted or disconnected in a particular time period. So that is called session time. Clear? So within the session, you can do the rollback. Okay, once you close that connection, the whatever you want to do the rollback, right? It will not be going to do. And after whatever the commit you want to do within the session only you can do. Okay, session if the session is closed and you want to do the same thing, so that will not be happen. Okay, while in a connection only you can do these things. Clear? So these are all are the SQL query languages. Okay, so we will see this by executing tomorrow. We will see by executing in the database level. Okay, we will practice that thing. After that, we'll see the topic of the constraints. Okay, table constraints. Any doubts? Any doubts here? Fine, good. So fine. So others? No. Okay then. So that's it for today. So we'll meet tomorrow. Have a nice day, guys.